colour of that. I've got some new electrolytes. And look at the colour change. It looks really weird, doesn't it? All the salts are dropping in the bottom. Anyway. You should drink electrolytes. That's off topic. Right, so today I started reading this book. It's mirrored. It's alive, isn't it? So you need to mirror it, but it's The Road Less Travelled. M. Scott Peck. I think it's quite a famous book. The subtitle is A New Psychology of Love, Traditional Values and Spiritual Growth. So it's very much a psychology mindset book. Just thought I'd give it a go. Finished Scott's book, The Eye of the Storm, so I jumped onto this one. It's an old copy, but in reading the introduction, which is, let's go to the introduction, which is literally a page, and barely a page, like, you know, you've got that page, and then it's that, just that little introduction, which is really short introduction. There's a belting piece right at the bottom. I'm just going to read it, and then we'll talk about it, because this, out of all the work that I've been doing in terms of spiritual journey with Roberto, this one was an absolute eye-opener and a nugget, and I need to explore it. So it captivated me, this little bit in the intro. Just read it, right? Well, it's light here, it's getting a bit dark. Right. As a psychiatrist, I felt it important to mention that at the outset, two assumptions that underline this book. One, that I make no distinction between the mind and the spirit, and therefore no distinction between the process of achieving spiritual growth and mental growth. They are one and the same. Right, that's quite a challenge. So spiritual growth, he considers the process of achieving spiritual growth and mental growth to be the same thing. The other assumption is that the process is a complex, arduous and lifelong task. Well, yeah, we know that, you know, mental growth, working on yourself is a lifelong thing. Go on. Psychotherapy, if it is to provide substantial assistance to the process of mental and spiritual growth, is not a quick or simple procedure. I do not belong to any particular school of psychiatry or psychotherapy. I'm not simply a Freudian or a Jungian or an old Adlerian or whatever that is, or behaviourist or gestaltist. Yeah, these are all different psychiatrists, aren't they? Famous people. Freud, Jung, Gestalt. Yeah, gestaltist, that's another one. I do not believe there are any single easy answers. I believe that brief forms of psychotherapy may be helpful and are not to be decried, but the help they provide is inevitably superficial. The journey of spiritual growth is a long one. I know this, right? I would like to think that those are my patients who have given me the privilege of accompanying them for major portions of their journey. For their journey has also been mine, and much of what is presented here is what we have learned together. I'd like to thank many of my teachers and colleagues, principal along them, going on there about his wife, right? But anyway, you get the point. This is an old copy of this book. The flipping text is just like all faded and horrible. Right, it's not great at all, but anyway, the message is fantastic. That bit there where it just says, one is that I make no distinctions between the mind and the spirit, and therefore no distinction between the process of achieving spiritual growth and achieving mental growth. They are one and the same. I very much agree with that. I've got to show you this again. You know, This is a screenshot. You have to watch the YouTube on Leo's channel, actualize.org. It's called The 9 Stages of Ego Development. This is just a screenshot, so if you go on the YouTube video, I've got links to it in my channel. You can just take this screenshot yourself, but the idea being is that they're broken up into 4 groups. You've got pre-conventional, which makes up about, this is 5% of the US population, which is, you've got 3 groups. What have you got? Symbiotic, impulsive, and opportunists. Symbiotic and impulsive, they're almost like babies, they're just undeveloped. Opportunists can be like really low-level criminals. And then you got conventional, which is 75 to 80% of the adult population. This is most people. You've got 3 groups there: conformist, the expert, and then the achiever. And this conventional phase is where you would lump in things like organized, like traditional organized religions. I would put in there plugged in people, that are working I don't want to say this, but if you're sort of plugged in and you're working in a corporation, you've got to keep your mouth shut and do as you're told. You're actually in a conventional setting there. You're buggered. You're just a sheep. You're not being controlled by. And only when you start thinking laterally and break amongst that, and get some personal sovereignty, do you move into this group over here called post-conventional. This one down at the bottom is called transcendent unitive. It's like 0.5% of people are there. Like they're like Buddhas basically. And I don't believe it's possible to stay there, but over here in this post-conventional, it's quite an interesting area. You've got pluralist, and that one group. Then you got autonomous strategist. Sounds great. And then you got construct-aware stroke magician. So that's where you want to be operating. You know what I mean? A bit more post-conventional. And that it got me thinking of that when I read this. I've only just started reading this book, and I just picked up that intro. Like I said, just an amazing, page and a bit. And it says it makes no distinction between the mind and the spirit, and therefore no distinction between the process of achieving spiritual growth and mental growth. Yeah. How many people with various mental health problems actually think about it there as like, you need to develop your spiritual growth as well. If you think about life, like I think on the next one, that part 1's called discipline, and it says something here, like the first line is life is difficult. This is a great truth, one of the greatest truths. It is a great truth because once we truly see this truth, we transcend it. Once we truly know that life is difficult, once we truly understand and accept it, then life is no longer difficult because we've accepted it. The fact that life is difficult no longer matters. And this life is difficult comes from it's like the first of the 4 noble truths, which Buddha taught us was life is suffering, right? And that's very true. So, what do we do there? Well, it's kind of accepting it, isn't it? That life is suffering, and spiritual growth, like what I've been doing with Roberto, helps you get beyond that. Once you start realizing that, life's full of challenges and this, that, and the other, you become much better at handling it. Right. Oh, the book. Yeah, hang on. You're asking what the book is called. The Road Less Travelled. Ignore that little sticker. M. Scott Peck. You'll have to mirror it because it's alive. But The Road Less Travelled it is. Yeah, it's just in the introduction. It just looked really good. But yeah, once you realise that it's like what Roberto said to me, you know, about things like difficulties, whether it's like traumatic events and things. Trauma is, it becomes part of you. It's like, he said, it's like an arm or a leg, you know, it's just part of you. You can't get rid of it. You can make the effects of it less, but you can't get rid of it. So it just becomes part of you. What you've got to do is just go beyond it, rise above it, as in accepting that life is suffering. And once you accept that, you accept it, and you also accept that all you can do is what you can control and all these kind of things. Life starts to get a lot easier, you know what I mean? It's, and this is it. This is the bones of it, basically. Life does get easier when you realise that. And then you realise that, well, you know, everything's difficult. So what? Just get on with it, you know. So there's not really much else I can say. That I just thought I'd do a quick live on that. I will probably, you know, if there's loads of nuggets in this book, I'll keep coming out with them. As always. Yeah. Read every day. Yeah. And if you want to, I did a good video on this topic. I think it's, if you just search on my channel, it's probably called something like what next after self-development, so after personal development. What do you do after you've sort of leveled up all the, I'm talking about like leveling up all the external stuff, so like getting in shape, earning a bit of money, sorting your lifestyle out, all that kind of thing. Once you've done all them things, and you know, maybe you've got a girl and all the rest of it, or if you've got the right guy or whatever, what's next, you know? Because you can always get more stuff, you know, more external stuff. The idea is to go on a spiritual journey and become more mindful. It's a superpower. Knowing that you can just take life in its stride regardless. All right. Yeah, links down below. And don't forget, like my videos, go and watch some more. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe, and see you all next time.